My number 2 pickup of the week, moving back to running backs. And again, not a guy that you necessarily want to start right away, but that tells you just how much ceiling breaking upside I think Zach Charbonnet has. 42% rostered. And the fact that I don't even believe you can just toss him right in your laps, and yet he's still worth 30, 35% of your FAAB gives you an idea of how big of a league winner I could see Zach Charbonnet being if the circumstances arise. And I also bid that up a little bit because I do think there's some handcuff with benefits upside to Zach Charbonnet. He was the number 4 pickup for me last week, and he really showed why. In fact, he actually had 59% of the snaps outsnapped Kenneth Walker, outproduced him fantasy points-wise, was the running back 30 compared to the running back 32 for Kenneth Walker. He played every single third down, Zach Charbonnet, for this team, every single 2-minute drill snap. He also got more short yardage snaps than Kenneth Walker. If he starts to siphon that type of work, that's significant. That's what we just talked about with like Lenny Fournette and Kareem Hunt. Those high premium touches here were going to Zach Charbonnet, and he was doing a ton of damage with it. He ultimately had 5 carries for 53 yards, over 10 yards a pop on it, had 11 yards on his 2 catches, and we had, after the game, Pete Carroll said, they were asking, was this a Kenneth Walker injury or what was going on here with Zach Charbonnet? And he said, we just wanted to make sure to get you out in there, had a chance to contribute. He looked very good, blocking, running the football, catching the football. We were fortunate to have both those guys, and he just gets it, said Pete Carroll. Game comes easy to him. He understands. He's very disciplined, very accountable kid, does exactly how you tell him, adapts to the flow of things, makes the right choices. He's hard-nosed in blitz pickup and pass protection, not afraid to throw his body in there, hasn't had a problem at all. He's very physical in it, and these things that are hard to do, he does better than your typical rookie. And then he finished his quote off by saying, this is a full-body guy. He can run, he can catch, he can block, he can do it all. He's an all-around player we can really trust, and we will trust him and continue to do so. And that just suggests that this role is not going away. It might only go up and up, so you got to be a little concerned if you're a Kenneth Walker owner, and certainly be encouraged if you have Charbonnet or if he's out there in your waiver wire. I think he is that handcuff with benefits to the moon, because if something happens to Walker, we know he's got that lingering calf injury. This is one of very few. Most years, there's probably 5, 6 guys that if the number 1 running back goes down, you could really lean on those guys in fantasy for some solid production. And then there's usually about 4 guys that, 20-plus point upside should the starter go down. Charbonnet might be on a list with maybe only Tajay Spears. Of course, you got the Jahmyr Gibbses and Jalen Warrens who are already highly owned, but there's really no elite handcuffs this year besides Charbonnet and Spears, and they're still out there in over half of leagues. So definitely go look for Charbonnet. I think you got to bid whatever you have to, because with those lingering injuries, we know Walker has dealt with that in the past as well. I think it's only a matter of time till Charbonnet is making starts. And if he is in this offense, we talked about it last week with Kenneth Walker, 8th most carries, 6th most fantasy points, top 5 in rushing in the red zone. This is an elite role, and I think Charbonnet has that 3-down skill set. Pete Carroll already talked about him having that elite 3-down skill set that would make him a bona fide RB1 should he take over the role. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.